What's up, y'all? This is your boy Eddie Jackson's who dropped that podcast. This episode for Hip Hop Talk is brought to you by Laidback TV. Over 10,000 channels, movies on demand, every sports channel, all the languages, all the HBOs. Just go on your Apple stores and your Play stores. See how you can download it on your iPhones and your Androids. Now, let's get really serious now. This is Hip Hop Talk, so we can't bullshit. Okay. First things first, Cameron versus Cardi B's team. This is the second time we are witnessing Cameron have a problem with an artist or the team of an artist where he gives his lays over his talents, from music, sampling, or even a verse to an artist, and in return, he's expecting either compensation or an interview. He has Talk with Flea, which is fucking very entertaining. It is what it is with Stat and Mace. And nothing against Cardi B because she's not even involved. This is Cardi B's team that's dealing with Cam. What the fuck? Personally, you know what? I think we gotta blame this on Cam. Why are you letting these motherfuckers sucker you in to give your talents when you're already a busy man? You know what I'm saying? You're a busy man that has shows, to worry about. You don't need to be doing this rap shit no more. You already did it. Excuse me. Fuck. Sorry. A little dusty out. Pollen. I don't understand why he's allowing himself to get caught up in this shit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he came to a mutual conclusion with J. Cole, but it took a long time to get there, and now it seemed like it took a long time to get there with Cardi B's team. And now he's threatened to take it to another level unless he's compensated or he gets, I guess, a Cardi B interview. I don't know what he's expecting to get in the long haul with that one. Pause. Let's get to Verzuz, all right? We did an episode for Verzuz, but shit did not clear, so we're going to do it now real quick. YG versus The Game. Once again, a Verzuz that I was hyped for, that I saw one way going and didn't know the details. I did not know YG is The Game's favorite rapper. I don't know what kind of setup what's kind of setup on the tracks that Game had, because there's a lot of songs that he didn't do. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he did the real, the singles, some of them weren't singles, like From Scratch, Higher. I don't know why he didn't do Put You on the Game. I think he did it. I think he did it. I would have to see the tracks again. But he didn't do Certified Gangster with Jim Jones. He didn't do Celebration. What the hell? There were so many songs that he could have did. But then again, I always thought this was a mismatch, right? You need somebody different to go up against The Game. Game versus 50 makes sense. Something like that. That era. It didn't make sense against YG. But that's just me. And they did 20 rounds. I gave at least 5 to Game. Because I look at not only the track selections, but the performances. This motherfucker literally drank a whole bottle of Don Julio and got in the motherfucking zone. Now, I didn't say he got drunk, but he got in the fucking zone. And it just made me wonder, why these songs were picked. And he went straight out the gate with a lot of joints that he should have saved at the end. But YG took the dub. I don't deal with Complex's voting system. I think that's just bias. I don't think anybody from that system was in the era that Game came out with the documentary, the Doctor's Advocate, the Red Album, Jesus Peace, LAX, Documentary 2, the list goes on. I think they're just in the YG era. We can say YG got some classic joints, But there's one thing that Game has that YG don't have, and that's multiple classic albums. That's why I say he's a different artist. But shout out to YG. You know, he did his thing. No hate, no shade. Moving on. 50 Cent versus Rick Ross. Here we fucking go again. I was in the era when this was going down. You know, when they were doing diss records on each other. These two are always going to have a fucking problem. And it doesn't make it, I don't know. I don't know who makes sense and who doesn't. You know what I'm saying? Ross got classic albums. He's got a longer discography than 50. Definitely, they both got legendary debuts. It's just 50 got a different caliber of a debut than Ross. Ross got a legendary debut with Port of Miami. It was part of Slip and Slide, Def Jam. Jay-Z was the Carter administration. He was the EP of it. It made noise. It would debut on box office. Debut at the Billboard, #1. You know, gold. But if we're being honest, Get Rich or Die Trying, The Massacre, those are 2 diamond albums. Okay, #1. And even though you got Jay in your corner, 50 had M and Dre, 2 juggernauts. And yeah, you know, Ross is suffering from a little decline. He's with Gamma now. He's playing the longevity of the long game with his album, his new album, Set in Stone, that basically it does nothing. I mean, I listened to the album. I mean, I got a couple of songs that were pretty dope. I mean, I like Maybach Music 7. I like Minx in Miami. I kind of like Mahogany Caskets. I like Caviar Bumps. That's a dope record, dope beat. But it seemed, he said it himself. He basically said to his guy, give me all the beats, don't tell me who they are. I think that was his downfall. And he just threw a bunch of fucking features in there. For what? I don't get it. You know, I think he should do less features and a star fucking of production. You know what I'm saying? You know, get Swiss, get Pharrell, get Timbo, like get Just Blaze like he did before on Port of Miami too. Shit like that. You know, bring back the Justice League, the Runners. You know, go all in. He didn't. And 50's exposing it, so it is what it is. Summer Jam. The Summer Jam show, instead of in a fucking stadium or a fucking ballpark or something outside related like Yankee Stadium, it was in an arena. Trash show. It was a trash show. It seemed like when Ebro, Laura, and Rosenberg got fired from Hot 97, seemed like he took everybody with him for Summer Jam, and just wasn't it. Summer Jam ain't gonna be like it is. There are too many festivals now that are fucking overshadowing it. One of them being Rolling Loud, Coachella. They're all fucking pretty much like shadowing Summer Jam, just in my opinion. And before we get out of here, let's get to the fucking cringy situation. 38 Spesh versus Jadakiss, Fat Joe, and Jim Jones. Puts out a diss. Went on Summer Jam and dissed some of them. I understand he wants to go one-on-one battle with Jadakiss. $500,000. Jadakiss is a over 25-year career that doesn't need you. So you got to get 38 Spesh, got to get that shit through his head. Fat Joe, I think 38 Spesh could probably squash Fat Joe, no pun intended. Fat Joe is, you know, don't get me wrong, I love Mafofo diss to 50 Cent, but it was catchy. It was, you know, I'm not saying it was a very effective diss. It was catchy. You know, can he do that to everybody? Probably not. but I think he felt more comfortable to do that, against 50. But Fat Joe ain't doing that. Big Pun could do that, may he rest in peace, but he ain't doing that. Jim Jones, I don't think Jim Jones is going bar for bar against 38 Spesh. He's out the realm. I think Jada is the only one that has the weapons to bring it to 38 Spesh. And let me give this little opinion, because they said that, with 38 Spesh bringing up Chrissy, Jim Jones's wife or whatnot, they don't agree with that. I've heard it on, I've listened to different opinions, you know what I mean? I heard Academic's opinion of it. I heard the JBP, the Joe Budden podcast. I heard No Jumper. I think that's all I heard. I heard Ebro, Laura, and Rosenberg. I heard everybody's opinion. Here's how I feel about it. You know what I'm saying? And I stand on this. I fucking stand on this. And I'll bring up an example like Drake and all that. There are no rules in this fucking shit. When you feel a certain way, that means you added a rule. If you decide you don't want to bring wives and kids involved, that's your priority. That's your prerogative. You know what I'm saying? That's your prerogative. Your prerogative is to not bring in family. Just keep it solely on that person. Now, in my days of battling, I didn't give a fuck. My first bar for bar battle was against a nigga that wanted to, like he want, how do I put it? Like he wanted to go with his car, and go get his, get his friend. You know what I'm saying? Like, go get his piece and shit. Like, I don't know how to say it without a pause. Oh, you want to get his gun? Fuck it, I'll say it. And people were trying to stop him and all that shit. I was just like, yo, let that nigga go. But he wanted to go bar for bar, so he made this little Chuck E. Cheese fucking little nursery rhyme. And then I came back. When I came back, I talked about his wife. I talked about his kid. Whatever. His wife was in the vicinity when this was going down. So, with that being said, there's no rules into this. Drake studied this shit for years and he claimed there were rules to this. There's no rules. I don't know what book he was fucking reading. You need to get a grade level up. Okay? That's why he didn't win against Pusha T. That's why when he was going gloves off with Kendrick found a way. And he lost two of them in the last 6 years. So with 38 Spesh, you don't give a fuck. Hey, you want to talk about my mama? She did. He's going for weaknesses. Jim Jones, obviously, his wife is one of his weaknesses. That's his lady. He's been his loyal lady for years. Fat Joe, 38 Spesh probably don't know his weakness. Jada, who are you going to diss? You going to diss his wife? You going to diss his kids? We don't know if that's his weaknesses. You're going to go bring in the Locks, Styles P, and Sheik Luch will gladly show up. We got to stop with this fucking moving the goalposts of rules. It's not making any sense. There's no rules in this shit. And the faster you learn this, the more you'll enjoy a rap battle. Otherwise, your morals do not deserve to be in the same conversation as a rap battle. Just saying. But I'm your boy Eddie Jackson. This is Drop That Podcast. This is Hip Hop Talk. Make sure you hit that sub button. Get that hype up. Hit them likes. Also, comment. Who you think won between YG and The Game on Verzuz? Did you like Summer Jam? I didn't. Who you think is winning the bar for bar posts? Rick Ross or 50 Cent? Do you think Cameron's going to get compensated or get an interview with Cardi B because of her team? And how you see 38 Spesh going up against Jada Kiss, Fat Joe, and Jim Jones? All right? I'm your boy D Jackson. This is Drop That Podcast. Y'all be easy, all right? Peace.